The part people keep focusing on is sightings, but that's not what changed. What changed is review. Governments don't go back and re-examine decades of material unless something internally shifted. That's infrastructure, that's intent. And intent is where real stories start. Because once something moves into review, it stops being dismissed and starts being processed. That's a completely different phase.
Yeah, it feels administrative, quiet, which is weird because you'd expect something like this to feel dramatic.
Exactly. Movies make disclosure look like announcements. Reality looks like document requests, meetings, systems coming online. And now AI is part of that system, not analyzing the phenomenon, but analyzing secrecy around it. That's the part that keeps sticking with me.
Right, AI reviewing secrecy is wild.
It changes the timeline. Humans move slow through archives, machines don't, which means patterns might emerge faster than anyone expected. And that raises something bigger. If patterns emerge that humans missed, does disclosure become a decision or a discovery?
That's a good question. Okay, wait, before we spiral too far, we should probably introduce ourselves.
There. If you're just joining us, I'm Jaxon Reed.
And I'm Maya Brooks.
And this is Buzz Blast Newz, where we don't just follow headlines, we follow what they mean. So the conversation right now isn't are UAPs real? It's why is the government reviewing this now? That shift matters more than any individual report, because review implies scale, and scale implies this isn't a handful of cases sitting in a drawer, it's an archive.
Let me ask you something. Do you believe in UAPs?
I believe something unexplained is happening. I'm not ready to define it, and honestly, I think that's where institutions are too, structured uncertainty.
I don't disagree, but I think people hear uncertainty and assume avoidance.
That's fair.
Like, it can sound like we're dancing around something.
Maybe, but uncertainty is honest, and historically, institutions move through uncertainty before they move toward conclusions. Here's where this gets interesting. Disclosure isn't a reveal, it's a filter. Files don't appear, they move categories, and movement means someone made a decision about relevance, which leads to the real question. What survives review?
And what doesn't?
Exactly, because redaction is part of disclosure. People imagine transparency as full visibility, but historically, it's partial visibility.
How redacted do you think this will be?
Yes.
That's not an amount.
Imagine opening a document and the only readable word is the.
Black marker energy.
Public pressure plays a role too. Testimony changes tone. When credible voices describe events differently, institutions shift from dismissal to structure. And once structure exists, the topic becomes durable. Durable topics don't disappear when leadership changes.
And durability changes how seriously people take something. If it keeps showing up, people stop dismissing it as noise.
Exactly. Repetition creates legitimacy, even before explanation exists.
Let me push you on something. Do you think disclosure is intentional or inevitable?
I think it starts intentional and becomes inevitable. Technology accelerates that. Sensors improve. Civilians record more. Data accumulates faster than institutions can ignore.
So secrecy gets harder.
Much harder. Science entering the conversation might be the biggest shift. Not confirmation, permission. Permission to ask better questions without reputational risk. That changes funding, research priorities, collaboration. And stigma dropping might be more important than evidence itself. Historically, that's true.
Let's do a listener question here. What would actually convince you disclosure is real? Not interesting, not possible, real.
Because everyone's threshold is different, and that threshold shapes how this story unfolds. Here's something I've been thinking about. Maybe disclosure isn't about information volume, it's about pattern recognition. One report means curiosity, 10 reports mean investigation, thousands mean systems.
That's a good way of explaining it.
It's like noise turning into signal.
That's the metaphor.
And once something becomes signal, institutions can't treat it the same way anymore.
Which means the turning point may have already happened, and we're just seeing the administrative aftermath.
That's exactly how it feels.
Let me flip another question back to you. Do you think disclosure changes society even if nothing extraordinary gets confirmed?
Yes. Governments publicly admitting uncertainty about persistent phenomena changes expectations. Authorities saying we don't know reshapes trust dynamics. It normalizes uncertainty.
And people struggle with uncertainty more than mystery.
Very true. Audience question for you listening. Do you think the mystery is the phenomenon or the secrecy around it? Because here's the thought I keep coming back to. Maybe the files aren't the story. Maybe the story is that review is happening at all. That someone decided this deserved attention again. That systems were built. That resources were allocated. That AI was introduced. That's intent.
Meaning the turning point may not be the release.
It may be the review.
And if AI finds patterns humans miss,
Disclosure might not come from a decision.
it might come from discovery.
That's the uncomfortable possibility. Final question. If decades of information move into the open, even partially, what changes first? Public expectations, scientific priorities, trust, language? Because disclosure doesn't guarantee answers.
It guarantees better questions.
And once better questions start,
The conversation can't go backwards.
so maybe the turning point isn't what's in the files.
It's that someone finally decided to look.
Drop your thoughts in the comments.
What would convince you disclosure is real?
Stay informed,
Stay curious.
stay buzzed.